All right, I figure it would be fitting to do a introduction video, a background video, who I am, what I do, why you should care to listen to anything I have to say when it comes to beekeeping or business. So my name's Matt, and I've been a beekeeper now. This will be our 6th season, keeping bees. I'm the current president as of 2026 of the Albuquerque Beekeepers Association. We own 2 different branches of kind of beekeeping businesses or services. We own Bear Canyon Honey Company. That is a basically a packing facility that is FDA rated here in Albuquerque. We operate that with not only our honey from about 250 colonies that we manage throughout kind of the Albuquerque greater area. So we go down to Belen, Socorro, we go up into Espanola, Santa Fe. So kind of that Rio Grande River corridor. So it's kind of what we do with our stuff, and then we also contract with other beekeepers in the area that don't want to sit at farmers markets every Saturday to try and move their stuff. This is not an advantageous program for somebody who has 2 or 3 hives. You're going to make better money selling honey at farmers markets to friends and family, low volume, high margin type of product. Who we kind of work with are beekeepers that have 10, 15, 25, 30, 50 hives. They produce enough volume, but yet don't have the ability to market all of that honey by themselves. And so we come in, we pay a higher than average ag market price to help support them, and then we bottle it under either our label or the Los Poblanos label, who we're really grateful for. They're kind of a unique boutique company here in the Rio Grande Valley. They are known for really high quality products and supporting local businesses and makers from that standpoint. So that's kind of one aspect of our business. The other part of this that we do is we do a lot of cutouts and bee removal, bee relocation. So we'll come into a house, parapets, flat roofs, stucco in New Mexico is really good for harboring bees. Bees like to set up in the canales and whatnot, and so we'll come in, we'll consult with the homeowner, we'll come up with a plan to extricate those bees and relocate them to one of our apiaries. So there's a bonus there. We get to continue to kind of build up that support for our own bees. So that's really the 2 areas that we service. Of course, we dabble in all sorts of stuff. If you need a box with drawn comb, I'm happy to sell it to you. You need jars or need a source for labels, I'm happy to work with you on those types of things. So we're always coming up with new things. We're coming out with a new line of pollen patty, protein patty for bees that we've found works really well for our stuff. And so we're bringing that line hopefully to the commercial market to be able to help support beekeepers. This is really specially formulated for kind of that drier desert Southwest. So it's kind of what we're marketing for. Other than that, I mean, I think that beekeeping as a whole has a lot of different avenues. And we don't come from a beekeeping background. I am an entrepreneur at heart, but I've only been doing this for about 6 years. Prior to that, I ran an automotive repair shop in Wyoming, and I've owned a landscape maintenance business. We used to make horse shavings. I mean, you name it, I've kind of dabbled and played with it. And so taking a lot of the fundamental business practices and bringing them into beekeeping, there's a number out there. I think it's 1,000 hives or something that makes you a commercial beekeeper by definition. And what I want to highlight on our channel is the fact that I don't know that that's feasible this day and age. If you were to say, hey, let's start from zero. Your dad didn't give you a shop. You didn't inherit a ton of family money. Your family doesn't come from an agricultural background, but you want to become a commercial beekeeper. How do you start from zero and work your way to 1,000 colonies and compete with imported honey, compete with the big commercial guys that maybe don't have the overhead expense or don't have to take out a huge business loan? I don't know that that's possible this day and age, and I don't know that it's necessary. I think that with a diversified business model, you can absolutely do this as a full-time job. It's very rewarding. It is lucrative. You can make this very lucrative if you kind of follow the right channels during the right times of the year, and you're willing to kind of not say no at the beginning. When you first start out, I think you have to take on a big chunk of whatever pie is available to you. You can't really be picky. If someone calls and said, hey, I need help and I'm willing to pay you for it, and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday, and or heck, on a Saturday because of your day off, and it happens to be 100 degrees outside, you can't say, I don't want to go outside, I don't want to put a bee suit on. If you're really passionate about trying to build that business, if you're really passionate about trying to build that model, you have to say, yeah, it doesn't matter. It could be midnight on a Sunday night, and maybe you have a full-time job that you have to go to work at 7 o'clock the next morning. If you're passionate about what you're doing, you have to jump when someone says how high. Unfortunately, your customer base and sales dictate what you're gonna do given that period of time. And we've done this business model over and over and over again. When we worked in automotive and RV repair, we were open and the only shop that was open on Sunday, and that was our best sales day by far. We hit all of the travelers that were coming through our small community, and that worked out really well. And same thing, a lot of people don't want to work bees in the summer because it's hot. Eat a good diet, drink lots of water, get plenty of rest when you can. Be available and prepared to do the jobs that nobody else wants to do. And that is an angle that even without a ton of money, you can definitely be successful. So I want to highlight a lot of that stuff on this channel. I think there's plenty of stuff for brand new beginning beekeepers. There's tons of information on hey, how do I do this? There's nothing for that middle ground that I found. I haven't found anyone that's talking about how to build a business that can actually support you, but starting from nothing. Starting from zero. And that really kind of comes down to what I'd like to highlight on this channel is, what can you do? How do you do it? How do you scale your business with nothing? When we started this about 6 years ago, that would be COVID. I was watching the kids at the house. We have 2 children, and I was watching my kids, and they were going to school. We were doing homeschool. I couldn't work. We didn't have any money coming in. We had no substantial income whatsoever. There was nothing extra at all. And so literally I would go out and I would find pallets while the kids were doing schoolwork or my wife was home on the weekends. I would find old pallets and I would break those pallets down and I would make boxes out of those pallets. I would scrounge old frames from people who were throwing them away because they were infected with wax moths, and I would clean those up and I would use those. Nothing. We started with zero, and today we've grown our company. We have great partners. This is a business that for the most part sustains us. We're able to pay a couple of employees, although be it part-time. Those are big accomplishments in my mind as to where we started and where we are now. And so, as we walk through that process, I'm going to highlight a lot of those things and try and help you out. I want you guys to ask questions about, hey, look, how did you go from 2 hives to 20, and how did you get from 20 to 80, and what's the best option for buying boxes? I can tell you right now, if you want to scale your business, buying brand new bee equipment is not sustainable. You can't do that. And so buying used equipment is a great option. There are some caveats that you have to watch out for when you buy used beekeeping equipment, cleanliness and hygiene and so on and so forth. And you know, if you're the person that's like, look, I'll never buy that because it could have, you know, foul brood or whatever in the frames and so on and so forth. Those are realities that everybody faces. There are ways that you can avoid that, and there are things that you can do, but those are things that as you scale your business, eventually you're gonna come across. You're gonna have to deal with foul brood on some level. You know, here in New Mexico, we deal with Africanized bees, although they're not super common. They are a thing, and so I guess to that point, you have to be willing to understand that there are some things that you're going to have to deal with in order to scale that business and grow it appropriately. You know, if someone has drawn comb, but it looks a little dark and it's a little older, that's still good drawn comb. That's still something that you can make a split off of and get those bees established in a new box with that older drawn comb, and they'll take to it. It's not perfect, but it's not forever. It's a stepping stone that you can get to that helps you advance. I mean, heck, that'll give you a year up on someone that's starting with brand new foundation. So anyways, that's kind of a little bit about what we do, what I'm passionate about, and that's kind of what this channel is going to try to highlight. I really would like participation. If anybody has questions about what we do or how we do it or why we do it, please leave them in the comment section, and we'll try to do the best we can to be as transparent as possible.